What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Welcome back into JC's Pop Culture with me, JC, where you can see all kinds of pop culture content. Could be anything from trailer reaction to EA Sports College football news, or what we have today, more movie news, and it's Superman 2025 news, some late casting news. We know principal photography has already begun on this movie. I've already been covering a shit ton of updates. I'll put the playlist for that here. If you haven't seen any of those updates, I'm going to continue to cover everything leading up to Superman's release and try and cover the DCU as much as possible as James Gunn kicks it off with Superman in 2025. But we now know Pa Kent and Ma Kent will be a part of the cast. At least one of those was in question because we know this isn't going to be an origin story and shit. James Gunn has went out of his way to say that. So I was a little bit surprised when the first piece of this casting news came out, and that was Pa Kent. And we've got Pruitt Taylor Vince here. Let me share this article from Deadline when they announced this. As you can see, James Gunn's Superman adds Pruitt Taylor Vince as Pa Kent, so he will be playing Jonathan Kent there. You probably saw him in the thumbnail. There's another picture, though, from Deadline in the article. Warner Brothers / DC Studios Superman has cast Pruitt Taylor Vince as Jonathan Kent, the Earth citizen father of Krypton native Superman. Taylor Vince follows in the footsteps of such actors as Kevin Costner, who played it in Man of Steel, and Glenn Ford, who played it in the 1978 Superman. Taylor Vince joins the long cast. We know that already from previous updates. Everyone that's in this, the movie's already currently shooting in Georgia, scheduled for a July 11th, 2025 release. Not 2011, 2025, obviously, and shit. But Taylor Vince's credits include the upcoming Apple TV Plus series Lady in the Lake, opposite Natalie Portman, True Blood, The Walking Dead, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Stranger Things, and Bird Box as well. So you may have seen him in some of those things. I think for me, this one, I don't want to say like out of left field or anything, but it just doesn't really resemble, I guess, what you would expect, Jonathan Kent to look like, or has looked like in a lot of incarnations and shit. To me, when I saw it, he looked more like Perry White, so it's interesting. But I think, they've talked a lot about the story being inspired a little bit by All-Star Superman. So I think, maybe they're going with a Pa Kent that kind of looks a little bit like that. I'll throw a picture of that, right here in the video. That's kind of what Pa Kent looks like in All-Star Superman. So if that's kind of inspiring this story a little bit, maybe they're trying to angle for that a little bit. But no sooner than, we got this news. I think it was, yesterday. So about, 24 hours ago or so, got the news of Pa Kent and shit, which was, surprising to me, like I said, because to me, that really screams flashback, because we know, like I said, this isn't going to be an origin story. We know, Pa Kent's, spoiler alert, if you don't know what happens to Pa Kent, doesn't make it. So either it's going to be a flashback to that scene, or maybe it's just a flashback of him, teaching young Clark some things and shit that they show in this movie. But, especially with it coming already, once film has already started, this casting news, got to think it's not too big of a role. So maybe it's, a flashback, because like I said, I don't know. We know this is a Superman that's already, into his career as Superman, as far as we know. Not an origin story according to James Gunn himself. But no sooner than, I was about to record this video just talking about the Pa Kent casting news, had a thumbnail made just for Pa Kent, hopped on and saw, oh shit, they've cast Ma Kent too now. So I had to, go back in, make up a new thumbnail to add Neva Howell into it, because she will be playing Martha. Yeah, that's right. I know that name sends shivers up some people's spines and shit, right? But hey, I'm not a hater of BVS. I think it's an underrated masterpiece personally. Don't hate me for that. But Neva Howell has been cast as well to play Martha Kent. I think exclusively this came from the Wrap first. So I'm going to pull up their article here, share that one. I know her. I saw her back in the day in October Sky, a movie about a guy, from West Virginia that, ended up, building rockets and shit. And she was like the neighbor in that movie. That's the one thing I knew and recognized her from. But you may know her from Diary of a Wimpy Kid. I think she was in that as well. A few other things. But she will be playing Martha Kent in Superman, exclusive from the Wrap here, a few hours ago today now. She joins Pruitt Taylor Vince, who is playing Jonathan Kent. She has been cast in James Gunn's Superman, The Wrap has exclusively learned. Martha Kent is the wife of Jonathan Kent, adopted mother of Superman, also known as Clark Kent. So she's joining Pruitt Taylor Vince. We now know who Jonathan Kent and Martha Kent will be. She's following Phyllis Thaxter, who played Martha Kent in the 78 Superman, Eve Marie Staint, who played it in the Superman Returns, and of course Diane Lane played it most recently in Man of Steel, in Zack Snyder's Justice League, in BVS. So that's who she's following in the footsteps of. So not only do we have, Pa Kent. We have Ma Kent now as well. The article, of course, goes on to state Superman, the first DC Studios film. Super excited about that shit. Like I said, covering the DCU here, all of it, in the lead up to, the start of it, which will be, the live action start, will be Superman, which kicks off, chapter 1, Gods and Monsters, part 1, the relaunch, the new DCU. Like I said, filming has begun down in Atlanta, but there's a picture there from the article. If you haven't seen it, there in the thumbnail, a little side by side with Martha Kent there from the article here, from the wrap. So we have that. We have Jonathan Kent and we have Martha Kent. So a couple late additions to, a movie that's already filming and shit. Wasn't expecting to get those updates this late in, but the fact that we did get those, I think that there's still hope that we're probably going to get more. We're probably going to hear something about Jor-El. I'd say they'll announce that at some point, but it also shows me that James Gunn has his finger on this thing, finger on the pulse, releasing this info just little pieces at a time. He's going to continue to give us bits and pieces. He had the logo unveiled at CinemaCon. Of course, we already, talked about that here previously on the channel. You knew that update, a couple weeks beforehand if you've been following along here at JC's Pop Culture. So continue to do so. We'll continue to cover this casting news, continue to cover everything in the lead up to Superman. Super excited for this shit. Hope you are as well. Can't wait for the new DCU. If you're someone that enjoys superhero films as well as comedy or horror, be sure to subscribe here. JC's Pop Culture, updating those a ton, movie reviews, trailer reactions, all that good stuff, as well as EA Sports College Football, that video game, covering it in the lead up to its release here in just a couple months away now. So if any of those things sound like they're up your alley, hop along for the ride here at JC's Pop Culture by hitting the subscribe button. If you made it this far in the video, give me a thumbs up. That helps a shit ton with the YouTube algorithm if you hit that little like button. And now throw your thoughts in the comments. How are you feeling about the casting of Ma Kent and Pa Kent? Like I said, traditionally, I think that the Pruitt Taylor Vince casting is a little bit more surprising to me. There for Pa Kent, I think Neva Howell more looks the part, but I think either way, I'm trusting James Gunn fully in this shit. That's just my thoughts, though. Would love to hear yours. Drop them in the comments. Always appreciate those interactions, just like I appreciate you tuning into this one, and I'll catch you on the next one.